My head, allegedly in a soft spot, pounds against the cloth, the energy concealed in my own confines, radiating away the cells that were once healthy, poison in my thoughts. Livelihood disintegrated, motivation disjointed, crackling and static generating in the silent night sky. Just with a few bleak sounds, a few bleak hints, I remember the title to which the memory belongs. My mind feels simultaneously both bound and binded by my environment. An hour and 30 minutes pass and I'm tranquilized into heavy sleep. "Wake up!" my subconscious exclaims, pounding on the floor with its foot, shaking whatever building I'm in. Another hour or two passes off in a land of neutrality, in an environment of nothingness, even just for a bit. I feel the foreign shadows steal my light. I taste the poison lingering in my mouth. My head filled with blood. My whole body washing over with a sense and a need to itch myself. Somatic feelings of failure. My chest twists in different spots. My arms tense with limited motor function to punch or hold close anything that's near to me. Tightness in every position. A struggle to be comfortable. My racing thoughts force me to perspire. I think, what if, as I'm grounded back here, again, it repeats. It repeats, it repeats. And so I toss and turn once, and it repeats, and it repeats, and it repeats. And so I toss and turn once more, and it repeats, and it repeats, and it repeats. I have an urge to unscrew and loosen the bone enclosing my delicate brain. An urge to itch an indescribably outlandish scratch. A desire to hold on to one song in an album and play it on repeat. My mind just reaches to whatever is closest to me, a human folly manifested into someone that feels so dehumanized. Questionably violent thoughts enter my scape of intelligence, both inwards and outwards. I finally realize this is a result from the animalization of my so-called humanity. The strength of my apperception slowly feels questioned, leading to my devolution. My thematic modality falters and beckons at such a poison, such an itch. I finally bend the knee to a higher power. Feeling like an animal, just that, searching for something unfindable, thinking of something unfathomable, still not fully understanding my own patterns of thoughts, patterns of behaviors. Where does it go? Where do I go? Is there any way of solving this? Can I simply have one good night's sleep? And I try to be healthy. I try to take the steps needed. I'm in such an inescapable casino and the odds are rigged against my favor, and I have to work to regain currency each day, multiple times. And the only times I escape are for the moments I dream, only seconds that I remember. Objects that I hold on to change physical states, solids to liquids to gases. Entities manifest in front of me from thin air and quickly from a liquid to a solid. Could it be apnea? Could it be something I'm not realizing? My heart races even faster, knots are even tighter. And now they're voices, not even solids anymore, not gases, decibels cranking my solitude. Although foreign, this place is more familiar and more reminiscent than I'd like it to be. What could I do to solve this, I think? I need to stop thinking, I think of what could make me feel better. Smoking or drinking is no longer an option. They have led to a stupor of logic and pragmaticism. Food eating, a healthy behavior that people do to survive, I consider indulging indefinitely. Untidy thinking, erroneous behavior, that incurable thirst lingering about, teasing my motivation. Steps that have been easy to take in the past, steps that I've taken over and over and over, become stretched and elongated with time itself. And I have to leap, and I have to climb to get to the next step, as others have landscaped my own environment before me. And the worst part is that it was with my permission, consent to let people in, and change the hard wiring of the matrix from the central processing unit itself. An ability to sit in the throne where all things are connected. Weak and shaky ankles, barely being able to support your weight, the fibula that extends from your ankle acting like a support beam on a bridge, waving gently in the thick forces of the wind. The steps seem so few and far in between. I feel my blood pressure in my bones. I feel the cranking of structures and processing units somatically and mentally. I feel the code leaking from my mind like an open flesh wound, leaking ones and zeros, as my neck may in fact be viscerated from behind. An unexpected swipe of a knife from somebody whom I don't expect, stringing my flesh like the bow of a violin on its strings. And then I am dropped back down into reality as I open my eyes again and turn once more. The record repeats over and over once more. I one day thought, what if everything I ever created was simply just the opposite? What if I could just genuinely change everything about me to be the exact opposite, even my motivation? Well, that wouldn't be good news for the rest of the world. The world would wonder what happened to that guy. Questioning everything after the fact, at the point where it's too late. Now they wonder what they could have done differently instead of me. Regret transferred like a mode of physics so easily. The concept and transference of regretful energy is far from delicate. That love, that cuteness, provides an awkward opportunity for an unwarranted Freudian aggression to just kick in. That urge that questionably judges your sanity. Seeing something so cute you just want to kill it. That isn't me. Not anymore. Not for a long time. This urge, this thought, hasn't been in my reality for a long, long time. I've matured from it. But yet, I see people gain that same so-called juvenile urge arise in my near environment. A place where I try so hard to provide near perfection. Idealism treading on the precipice of reality. The same awkward mistakes. Those same poisons, so hard to dispel. And then you try, and try again. And you somehow manage to slip through the cracks of the barriers. You cannot break mountains. You cannot shatter structures that hold your momentum hundredfold. Slowly adapting. Slowly finding words that might be able to allow you to slowly chisel away into one spot of rock like a monk. That hunger distracts me. The tuning of a piano, the fine-tuned bodily instrument going through correctional art. Not everybody is the same. Not everybody is the same are words that repeat in my head. Just like the rest of the dead-ended, repetitious, superstitious thoughts. We'll be together forever. I'll always be here for you. I'm not going anywhere. You're a great person. You're a great friend. And when someone agrees, it's okay. I won't tell anybody. They grab onto your collar and drag you outside as your feeble, sheepishly thin legs proceed to struggle to gain friction on the ground. You already know that the slaughter is coming. taking a firm postured seat onto the flat and sterile tree stump. It's about to be coated with more regret, food for someone else's desires. You can do it. You've done it before. More quotes. These words and phrases exist like anagrams, waiting for the solution to your puzzle. At this point, I don't even know if it's solvable. And all I want to do is kick back and watch my thoughts simmer and simultaneously smoke and evaporate into thin air. I like watching that. It doesn't harm anybody. It hypnotizes me. And to do this guilty pleasure with another human, it makes me forget about the history of those phrases and arise the potentiality for reconstruction. Makes me hopeful in ways. Restores the motivation for the landscaping of my dreams. Still, people only see an extremely limited perception of reality, a cookie-cutter technique of the mind applied only for their own apperception, generating their own scene of a film, which is plagiarized from your hard work. Open. Uncopyrighted. Take it, I think, as I gaze back into the air several inches in front of me, watching the smoke disperse once more into the atmosphere high above. Wind picking up through the window, stealing my neutral environment. Politics finally ideal. I do what I want, when I want, with a heavy dose of freedom. But this isn't just another dream. This is just another wish. Just another scene of a movie that hasn't been created yet. Something for the theoretical scholars to ponder. What can be its true origin? How did this happen? The wonder as they hone in on their own apperception. Ideas, concepts playing ping pong with the minds and paddles of others. Literally pinging ideas from opposite ends of the universe. A personal landscape of reality. A drawing of something that oneself may understand. And you can feel it. Once you serve that idea, once you think you have constructed and set it into motion, you can now see it. Your opponent slams that near massless ball back at you full force, questioning what a small object's momentum is even capable of. Of course, there is no wind resistance in the dream world, but had this been real, you would have been able to see the ping pong ball struggling to aim on a straight path as spin, wind, and friction against the oxygen cranks its path. This is directly analogous to your heart fluttering. From those moments you woke up from a dream you cannot remember. Those old ways, that habit of letting your thoughts smoke into the air before you, that had a cost. Memory, quick thinking, adaptive motivation, ability to practice mathematics and arithmetic, have valid foresight. Not lost, but certainly not gained. Some of these concepts still remain as a mystery. Mathematics. You discovered that you could arguably exist solely due to the weighing of one's own circumstances in the future, based off the past and the present. The question for me wasn't, how do I profit? Instead it was, should I profit? Do I take more compared to what was given to me? Smoking. No, that was greedy. That was mine. But where the investment of tokens meets the delegation of time, an abstract world is automatically induced. Pragmaticism cannot exist without the abstract world. Not for us. Not in the way we have intellectually evolved. For some, this evolution of mathematics was from concurrent pragmatic thinking, but for others, it came from a moral and ethical principle, according to how much you deserved and earned. It's a mystery to this day how allegedly abstract ideas can be grasped out of thin air like magic, how civilizations can just stumble upon a monolith which piques discovery and curiosity. The smoke. These repetitive ideas, they're also primitive. You're taken back millennia each time chaotic, averse, destructive events take place. Civilization is wiped and scrapped and requested to start anew. Each being, each idea is plucked from its natural habitat and asked to adapt in this new place or be killed by nature itself. We have already established that those aggressive and self-deprecating modalities have no place in the evolution of a civilization, even if you're the only actual human that's a part of it. Scrapping and starting over, almost like an antidote for the poison. A completely valid technique. Shaking the Etch-a-Sketch and starting over again. But I know that there is something wrong with this device. It is not doing as I asked it to. Not this time. And it's not happening automatically either. And so I turn again in my sleep. And again. My back feels injured from the stress. The anatomical posture of health cranks as my thoughts did. As my fibula did. As the ping pong ball has done. But this time is different. It's nothing like before. The information is inescapable, unavoidable, inevitable. The environment is solid, immovable. It's hell. And it matches the temperature as well. Even though I know it's cold a few hundred feet away, this bubble of thought that I'm captured in boils away at my skin and muscle. My bones paralyzed until I'm finished cooking. Perhaps until I just come up with a solution. And how do you know unless you try? And so here I begin, twisting and turning and cranking the Rubik's Cube of life. How could I say that I've lost touch with reality or mathematics once I am already engaging in the calculation of possible paths before me? Especially with abstract thoughts come grave error. At the speed in which I think it's hard to not build singularly and vertically. Even when I take the time to add structural support onto the sides of my own monolith, it is questionably insecure. With carefulness, with time, with precision, will come an opportunity for another success, another chance to make it. Perhaps if I follow the endless string of racing thoughts, like a suddenly broken support cable on a suspension bridge, that I could find where the problem started. Onto what newfound origin the results of the physics are destined. Only time will tell. I know I certainly can't. I was just trying to sleep. Distractions often derail me during the day, and I meditate on nothing other than the conundrum at night. I would say at some point, something to instill hope inside of myself. Often, a false hope. I consider what it would be like to live with this for the rest of my life, which is also as equally unpresentable. And as cascades of months whir by, watching alleged holidays come and go like you've spectated streetlights in the night outside of your car window, you realize that happiness is also a distraction. Superficial, you guiltily and spitefully conclude. You are guilty because you are also whimsical. You are also where your mind takes you. Following the smell in the garden, Experimentation awaits you. Among any other activity out there, creativity is on its knees and is begging for your return. Don't become victim of habit. Don't assimilate your talents, ideas, and skills with the unoriginal, lackluster worldly views. For the people that were once standing there as the sole monoliths and structures within such a truly vast and fully undiscovered land, it's always been hard to distract yourself from the lingering taste of blood in your mouth, a lack in continuity, a lapse in time. But you, I don't know if I'll ever solve the puzzle that you've given me, the puzzle that you've trapped me in, because I can be damn well sure that if this is what creations you can and have made, you will never be happy. And this unsatiated will of vengeance, this urge to provide equality for you, knowing that you'll never be happy, truly doesn't make me happy in the end. And so I turn again and turn again, just trying to fall asleep, just trying to find what's right. But this abstract realm you have corrupted continues to bind me into a false sense of reality. For a time, I was once superstitious with happiness, and now I'm overly doubtful with contempt. And so my heart will continue to race, and so my thoughts will continue to repeat, searching for a tangency out of this circular thought, a ray of hope. I know that in these ways I'll never be like you. I'll always retain my originality, as your personality is malleable and forms to the people around you. You'll never be truly happy. And this makes me sad. You'll never be truly content. This makes me worry. But it's time I focus on me and less on you. That familiar clue lets me know too. A pattern that renders your point moot. The devil is in fact cute.